Is everything all right? Father?
May God have mercy on your soul!
Welcome back to the Haddonfield Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror franchises. I'm Mark.
I'm Tawan.
I'm Maria.
I'm Elion.
And today we're reviewing Annabelle, released in 2014, directed by John R. Linetti, and written by Gary Doberman. Maria, can you give the people the plot summary?
John Form thinks he's found the perfect gift for his expectant wife, Mia, a vintage doll in a beautiful white dress. However, the couple's delight doesn't last long. One terrible night, devil worshippers invade their home and launch a violent attack against the couple. When the cultists try to summon a demon, they smear a bloody ruin on the nursery wall and drip blood on Mia's doll, thereby turning the former object of beauty into a conduit for ultimate evil.
Okay, Annabelle. I just want to start off with a small tangent rant. Was that
Oh
supposed to
no.
be the Manson family that attacked them?
No. You're thinking about the people that were in the TV show. They were talking about the Manson family.
Yeah.
Okay. So that wasn't the Manson family. So it was just some random cult who attacked them.
Yeah, it was just a random call. It was I guess the movie was set place just during while the Manson murders were happening.
Okay. Now that's out of the way. I had
Ooh.
never seen this movie before. I've actually never seen any of the Annabelle movies before. I don't do porcelain dolls. I don't do ventriloquist dummies. The only dolls I fuck with is Chucky. Okay, I can't even walk past American Girl. So I went into this expecting to be terrified. Don't laugh at me, Tawan. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm
I,
sorry.
I I hate porcelain dolls. I hate those type of dolls. They freak me out.
Do you
So
hate
I
the
was like,
Pussycat Dolls?
yes.
Oh. Oh.
So I was just like afraid to just like watch this movie, and then I watched this movie, and I was more so disappointed when we didn't see the doll, because that was the only time I personally was kind of scared, because everything else was just like confusing and weird, and like there's so much happening but nothing happening. It looked, I don't know, this movie looked weird. Some of it didn't look right to me, and I don't know, it just wasn't giving what I was expecting it to give. What about you, Maria? What are your initial thoughts on Annabelle?
Well, yeah, when I first saw this movie, I was definitely expecting a lot more from it, and then it just did not deliver. Like, I don't know what it is, but like the demons and like the James Wan movie just they never hit. Like they literally just look like a guy wearing a mask, not a mask, but just a guy wearing makeup. Um I think there was only just one part where the demon like scared me the first time I watched it. Then after that, it just got really old. Um, but I also feel like, yeah, like you're right. Like you don't really see the doll in the movie. You see it sometimes, but it's kind of like I feel like it's kind of like the same as when you see it during like the Conjuring movies, and it's supposed to be Annabelle's movie. You know, it's supposed to be the first movie, and uh, it was boring. Like it was super boring,
Literally.
and the ending was just like I feel like the ending came out of nowhere. You know, like when the neighbor decided to sacrifice herself, I feel like that just I don't know, it just kind of like it wasn't sad the way they were trying to make it seem sad. It was just like, oh, like okay, but I think it's because Mia is still freaking out on the floor that I think it just takes away the moment from what it was supposed to be. Um, but no, this movie just it was boring. I think that's the best way. Like it wasn't horrible. I've definitely seen worse. And there's definitely worse movies in this franchise, in this whole Conjuring universe. But this movie was just boring. It was just not like I wouldn't even watch this movie as a background movie. To be honest, I'd probably watch it just to go to sleep.
I'm dead.
That's so real.
What about you? What about you, Elian? What are your overall thoughts of that Annabelle movie?
It was decent, I guess. I mean, nothing I would watch. I mean, this is like the second time I watched it. I felt okay. This is how I saw the cinematography. Like, it still had it from like The Conjuring, but it seemed more. What's it called? It seemed like more cinematic, but still like the same kind of. I still saw a lot of zoom in, zoom out. I'm not gonna lie with you. Uh, and I don't know. It was just so weird. Like, it just bothered me. And on top of that, it was so boring. I guess there was only one scene that scared me. Is when like they were in the staircase and she was running away from the demon. But I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the demon, all I thought was that Doja Cat song.
Oh,
What's it called?
bro! Oh my god! Why was I thinking that?
All I saw was the Doja
I
Cat.
swear I was thinking the same thing. It looked like Doja Cat the Demons video.
Oh my god! Oh, inspiration, great.
That's funny as fuck.
Oh my goodness. Overall, I would say what you said was like I put this movie on just to go to sleep. To be honest, that was about it. That's my opinion on this movie.
What about you, Tuan? What's your overall thoughts on Annabelle?
I definitely agree with the core sentiment of this movie being boring. And I think that's why I dislike it the most. Because, like, a movie could be bad, but you can sometimes watch a bad movie and still enjoy it. But a boring movie is a boring movie, and I'm tired of watching it. And this was a short movie too. It was only like an hour and 30, so like 90 minutes, and it was still boring. I was like, damn, this shit's still on? Like, I feel like we should have been done by now. And I just for this to have been at the time, the first like spinoff of like a Conjuring, like deity, demon, whatever. It was a very like boring first start, and I think at the time when I saw this, I was like, oh, if they're gonna like keep rolling out movies like this, based on stuff within the Conjuring, they might as well stop because it's just gonna get like it's gonna get boring really quickly, and nobody's gonna like really be interested. But yeah, it just didn't really hold up or anything for me. It also didn't feel like there was like a good story here to go with it.
Oh my god, yes. I felt like so much didn't make sense. I felt like they just didn't know what movie they were making because at times the story didn't make sense. That entire last act was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and I think for me when I first watched this movie, I thought it was going a completely different way. I honestly thought Evelyn was like somehow in on it and was trying to do something to get like her child back or something.
I thought the same
Oh
thing.
my god, yes.
But when it wasn't that and she sacrificed
They were
herself, I
making
was
her
like,
creepy.
yeah, like they made her like she seemed like she knew too much or was like too open to the idea of what's happening, and
Like
she
she was,
just so happened to be there.
like she was just mysterious, but like it wasn't like
Not to be that guy. Why did Black Lady have to sacrifice herself
I
for
was
this
gonna
white
say
family?
the same thing.
Literally.
Like, we get one prominent black character in this movie played by the Alfred Woodward, and then she sacrificed herself for the people she just met.
And she was
You
the
never
only
know these
one
people.
giving.
She was.
The only one who knew she was on the set.
But yeah, but I feel like that made no sense that she sacrificed herself because you're right. She
Right?
just met them. It took she met them like 2 days ago.
It really,
Like I
it was
don't.
not long.
It really
It was
wasn't.
not.
What
At
else was
most,
like?
she knew them like a week or two because they weren't there for that long.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like that last act, that like once they moved into that new apartment, the movie for me just like completely fell apart. It stopped making sense to me. Like I just didn't like once the kid was born, I was like, what the hell is going on in this movie now? And what was the priest for? He didn't do shit.
He got blown
He
away.
did
That's what
not.
he was like whoosh, blown away.
Mm.
Oh my god. It could never be me. I'd walk out real quick.
Yeah, it just. I will. One thing I will say though. Well, I guess I'll save it for our character section. I'll save it for then.
Well, on that note, let's move on to some scenes. Were there any scenes that stood out to anyone, good, bad, or indifferent? I will say for me, the only like scary scene. Well, this movie didn't really have any kills, well, any kills. So we're just gonna go with scenes and jump scares. And for me, I'd say the cutting back and forth between her at the sewing table and then the popcorn popping, that was really intense. Because I was just like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Is she gonna like cut her finger? Is the popcorn gonna explode? And then they both happened. And then when she was
Okay,
crawling away and she got yanked back, I was like, oh shit,
I have
oh
a
shit.
problem with that scene too.
my question
See,
was like,
I
oh, go for
did
it.
too, but like it was like this is like something's finally happened, and I thought it was going to just like kick in overdrive after that, and then it didn't. So I was just
Okay.
like, damn, you gave me a good scene, but then there wasn't like an immediate follow up to that. And why that baby not dead? Like you didn't fail, you got stabbed, you didn't fail on your stomach, and the baby survived.
I'm shocked that they didn't call the baby Miracle.
Right? Like be fucking for real. But yeah, go ahead, Tuan. What are
My
you gonna say?
issue, my issue with that scene is like, I know she smelt that popcorn. You smell
Right?
popcorn throughout the house every time you making popcorn. It don't matter how you making it, you go smell it. And I know she
Don't
smelled
matter how
that
big your
burning ass.
house is.
I know. And look, we saw the setup of the house. Her room was right
It's
next
right
to
next
the
to
damn kitchen,
it.
so I know she smelled that shit. Like,
I bet it was smelling good because I know that popcorn, like that kind of popcorn. I bet it smells so good. How?
I'm like, girl, you don't smell that?
Okay, I feel like I spaced out. Was the husband that put? Didn't the husband put the popcorn there, or did she put it? Because
He put
I'm
it
like, and he just
there
laughed, and he just left.
because
I'm
he
like,
was gonna, yeah, because he was gonna like make it for her, I think, but she told him no.
oh hell no.
But also, he just kept leaving her. I'm like, you just had this incident where your house was broken into, your wife was stabbed in her stomach, but then you leave her alone at home. Like, no, sir, fuck work, fuck all of that. I got to be at home with my wife because shit's wild. And then I don't know if I want to say this for the character sections, but like most of the scenes he was in with her, I was just like, is he possessed? Like, cause he kinda creepy. He was giving me creepy vibes. I was just like, did they already get to the husband?
I
And
honestly
then
feel
like, and then with Alfred, like that, like that's like I said, that last act, just like those scenes, they didn't feel earned. It just all felt rushed at the end, and I feel like did they cut some stuff out with their character with the husband and wife and Evelyn? Because I feel like there is no way that she's sacrificing herself when she just met these people.
no.
I
I
feel
do
like
agree
we
with
needed.
you.
Yeah, I feel like we needed to see. Like, I get it. She lost her daughter or whatever, but like, her kid or whatever. Like, it's like I don't know. That last act just did not make sense to me, and it completely lost me. But
When
that
she
one jump
said,
scare. Oh, go ahead.
when she was like, when she was like, I think like she was like, Ruby said I had a purpose in life. I think this is it. Like,
Girl,
no,
bye.
like I'm pretty sure that's not what your daughter would have wanted for
No, literally.
you.
Girl,
Like, no.
your daughter would have been like, "Oh hell no, leave these white people. No, go away, afuera."
Yeah,
Exactly.
like, it was just
Uh-uh.
it does not make any sense. Like, don't blame your daughter for your stupidity you're about to commit right now. Like, that's not how this
Mm-mm.
works.
But what was I
And
gonna
then
say? Is
like,
like, oh, go for it.
no, it's like the only like scene that like kind of freaked me out is when Mia was locked out, and then she was seeing the baby, and then she finally broke into the room and picked the baby up, and then you just see the doll start to stand up. I was like, oh shit, we finally getting some doll action. But then again, it didn't lead anywhere again. And also, like, the baby was cool up until Mia came in and picked it up, and then it started to cry. I was like, I don't think the baby was in danger. Like, it made me seem annoyed that you
Baby
got
said me in the danger.
I thought no, at first I thought the bookshelf was gonna fall on the baby. That's what I firstly thought when the book started. Like that
No,
one
me
book
too.
fell. No, 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 no. But I also wanted to add. I was like, yeah, like I agree. It's just like it felt so rushed because I felt like I didn't have enough time to actually like empathize or like sympathize with these characters. It just felt too rushed. I couldn't. That's how I was
Yeah,
feeling about those.
I agree, and I am a champion of a good 90-minute movie when it's good though, because like nothing's better than like this movie's already done and I had a good time watching it, but this movie was boring and
Right.
short, but it felt long because I was like, damn, I'm still watching
That
this.
was my issue because, like, it felt like it dragged, but it also felt like I could have used some more scenes to make this shit make sense.
Mm.
But I also
Right.
don't want more scenes because I'm already bored of this fucking movie. But Maria, what about you? What are any like scenes or jump scares or anything that caught your attention, good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, I already said this, but I don't like any of the scenes with the demon because the demon. I just like I don't know what it is. Like just the Conjuring movies just don't do the demon right. Um, it's not scary. He literally just looks like a dude. Like I feel like if I saw that, I might try to fight it. Like it
Not
doesn't
Doja
look
Cat.
scary. You
How
know.
demons look.
And wait, not Twan, you heard this? She might try to fight it. Not the miss. I'ma just let this happen and just die. Like you, this one you gonna fight. This is the
So I
one who was
thought
just
it. Oh shit! I was like, you ain't doing
no.
shit.
She's the one who was. If we're in a group saw trap, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna just let it happen. But this
Yeah.
demon you gonna fight? Wow, that's a lot.
Well, cause like that's what I'm saying. It wasn't scary. Like if I woke up in a room, change or whatever the hell, like
Oh,
whatever fucking game we got to do, that's scary. Like all right, I'm out. I'm gonna just take me out. But like if I see that what looks like a person just like wearing makeup, then I would be like, you know what? I think I could do it. There's
right.
a difference. Like I'm scared in one scenario, not in the other one.
I'm gonna
But
go in more
Understandable.
detail. I'm gonna go in more details when we talk about the demon in our character section. But like, I feel like when it comes to the Conjuring movies, you are right. The demons suck, and I feel like they focus more on like shock value when you see like the visual of the demon. But the
I
demon
feel like
don't
the
do
second
shit
one gives us
after
our
that.
best one to be like,
Oh well, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Maria,
but
but go ahead, Maria.
oh no,
well, I mean,
no,
yeah, um, like the only scene that really did scare me was the staircase scene
Yeah.
because he's just crawling up everywhere. Like
Hey,
it's like he doesn't look scary, but it looks like I'm pretty sure if it's like really dark at night and you just see someone crawling, I feel like that itself is scary. Like
yeah.
even if they were like a regular person. And I also have this like little fear of like elevators. So I can't even imagine the fucking elevator's not moving. Now I gotta take the fucking stairs, and there's this man in pain or whatever the fuck he's in following me. Like that's kind of scary.
Maria
Um,
with Rosemary's baby right there crying. Shut up.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's what they were trying to do with her is trying to make her into like the way she was kind of freaking out made her seem very like Rosemary's baby, like the mom.
Mhm.
I wondered that if that's where they took that from, but it did not fit the movie.
Right.
Mm.
Like honestly, if they had tried making a remake of Rosemary's Baby,
Have
then
they?
they might have succeeded.
There was a recent one.
Wasn't it the one like it was a first person POV or something like that?
No, they have a mini series.
Yeah, that had Zoe
Oh,
Saldana.
okay, no.
But
I'm
you
trying
know,
to,
shameless plug. Maria and I did review the original Rosemary's Baby. You can go back through the episode archives to give that a listen. BTW.
oh,
But
Betty.
But yeah, I mean the last scene where the neighbor sacrifices herself, that was just, it made absolutely no sense to me. And I think somebody mentioned earlier that it felt rushed. It did. Like that, I think that's what it was, is that they weren't sure what direction they wanted to go to. I feel like they left a lot of open, a lot of like open threads, like a lot of like potential plots where they could have gone through, like the whole like mysterious neighbor, or like maybe the father's possessed, but I feel like they just couldn't decide where to go. And then they were like, oh shit, like we kind of have to finish this
Movie's
movie like
over.
right now. Yeah.
But yeah, like I see, like you can do that when you know for sure you're coming back for the sequel. Like if you don't know if you're coming back for a sequel, if you don't know there might even be a sequel, then you gotta wrap this shit up in a way that makes sense. Like this is not a Saw movie. You can't just be jumping all over the place because you know you're coming back next year.
True.
Yeah, I
I
definitely
agree.
agree. I did want to mention myself one scene that for me was a decent little scare. Because I forgot about it. It was Mia was like in the room with the baby, and she saw like the ghost of like the little girl. Then it started running at her, and then turned into like a full grown woman. That was a good little scare there. Out of pretty much everything that I saw, um, I was like, okay, that was good, but yeah. But outside of that, I didn't. Nothing else really like got me with this one, and yeah, I just don't think a lot of the scares here were that like effective, which makes it even seem even more boring. Because I mean, we know what we're getting with like these Conjuring esque movies, and if the jump scares are boring, then we really don't have nothing. The
For
story's
real.
already not cooking.
Let's move on to the characters now. This movie didn't have a lot of characters, which I don't know if that helped or hurt the movie. I don't know. It felt claustrophobic and boring, and I don't know. But let's start with Detective Clarkin. Juan, what are your thoughts on the movie's
Damn,
detective?
I was gonna ask you to skip him. 'Cause- I mean, like, I don't think I didn't think he was that important.
He was just
He was
there.
there.
I feel
He
like I
had
only seen
two
him.
scenes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I felt like I only seen him twice.
I mean, the only thing that he kind of did was give Mia like the information, like towards the like cult. But did he just give her? He just gave her evidence. Did he? Wasn't that like police evidence that he had? And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna
It
just keep
definitely
this."
was.
She's
It
like,
definitely
No,
was.
I swear, I was gonna search it. I was like, do victims get to see the
and
evidence?
yeah, he was. And she was just
Oh
like, "Oh, I'm
fuck!
gonna keep this."
It was a different time. It was a different time, It was the 70s,
Yeah, that was
60s.
crazy. That was crazy though. I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like,
Okay,
she's
cool.
like, okay, she's just okay. I'm gonna keep this, and he's like, "Okay." I'm like, "What? That's police evidence."
What? I was so ooh.
I was definitely confused there, but yeah, he didn't really like. He wasn't really there for much of anything, to be quite honest. So I don't have much of an opinion on his character. Um, yeah.
Well, side like okay, this little tangent. Did they ever catch the cult that attacked them? I don't remember.
No, I think they just brought it up and it's known. That's it. I don't think
Uh,
they ever said that
so they
this
literally
cult was
just had
taught.
the cult for like the opening whatever, and then that was it. It was just to give them trauma, and that was it. There was no like conclusion to that.
I guess not.
Maria, what are your thoughts on Father Perez? See what I did there? Maria Perez, Father Perez. I'm clever.
You thought you ate.
Hold on. That's
I
so
did. I did actually. Amazing.
um he's he's like the old priest, right? The one
Yeah,
who
he's the
like,
one that got attacked.
The one that got blown away. Whoosh.
I mean, I don't think like like his character doesn't really matter to me. Those scenes I feel like were pretty scary. I mean, the fact that she like opens the door and he's just like facing away because
Oh,
it's
that
not
that
him.
was good.
I feel like that itself. I mean, I would have closed the door. I don't know why she kept that door open, but like, uh, but I mean, yeah, there's not really much from him because I mean, yeah, because what he did not help. Like he was, I don't want to say useless, but like he was, but he was kind of useless.
Why are the
He didn't.
priests always the most useless ones in these?
Yeah, but like,
No. They always come last, and then they like to take credit. That's it.
yeah,
Mm.
but I feel like I I might be misremembering, but I feel like he does pop up in another movie, doesn't he?
I think the La
I
Llorona one.
Okay, so yeah, that's why
did he?
that's
I
why I
think
added him. 'Cause I think I remember seeing him in another one of these Conjuring esque movies. I
I
just didn't
believe
know.
he's like the connection to the rest of the movie.
Wait, was La Llorona? I swear I thought it was in Mexico. No, or was it
No,
like did they move? I haven't watched La Llorona. That's
Maria, since you're already on the roll, what are your thoughts on Evelyn?
I just can't wrap my head around the fact that she like, uh, that she fucking sacrificed herself for those people. Cause like, why would you do that? You know,
Like
especially
what?
the people you just met. Yeah, like I'm sorry, I would have seen her trying to jump out the window. I'm calling the police. Like, I'm not gonna step out there. Actually, that's not true. I would have left. I would have been like, this is too much for me.
I've been like bye.
Yeah, like,
If I got pushed out the house like she did, I'd be like, damn, that's between them and whoever.
Let me mind my business. Hold up.
They saved me.
I
yeah,
think with
right.
Evelyn, it's just like I think with Evelyn, were we supposed to? Does she have a history with the supernatural or like
See,
spirits or something like
and
that? I
that's the
thought.
thing. We don't even know.
See, that's what like
I
that's just making me mad because I feel like we're missing something from this character. There's no.
That's what I was thinking because I thought like when she said her daughter passed away and then she was talking about the books and like the cults and all that stuff. I thought her daughter like was attacked or like she felt something. Like I thought her daughter connected to that part, but it was just a car accident.
I'm
And I was
not,
like, wait, what?
I think we're supposed to be. I feel like the way I was thinking about it was okay. She lost her daughter, and maybe she herself tried to contact her daughter on the other side, and that's why she's like all gun ho. But it's just like that's just a conclusion I've drawn in my head because we aren't told or shown anything about Evelyn. She's just there one day when they're walking past.
Hmm.
Maria.
Well, I mean, I agree. She was just kind
So
of like, um, I don't know. I guess just her character just didn't really make sense. Like definitely felt like she came out of nowhere. I mean, I'm assuming they were probably giving her that backstory so that then later on they can. I mean, they did. Like they used it kind of like as an excuse of why it made sense for her to kill herself, even though it didn't make sense. But
all right, without spoiling it for me, because I haven't seen any other Annabelle movies. Like, are they doing her like they did that lady from the Insidious movies, where they killed her off, but then they kept bringing her back somehow?
no,
Is that what's going on? Okay.
no.
And
There's different
yeah,
storylines.
the
Mm.
next Annabelle is like the Ouija movie, the second one.
Oh. Oh.
What was the second Annabelle about again? I totally forgot.
No,
Wait, what?
no, we're not there yet. Don't spoil it.
Oh,
I've never seen
okay.
it. But Lion, what are your thoughts on Mia and John and that baby? I guess.
Um, I feel like the husbands are kind of useless. I'm just gonna be honest. Like he was just there, just like in Conjuring. That man was just there, did not help out. I'm gonna be honest with something. Like I did like what's her name, Mia. I liked Mia's acting. I'm not gonna lie with you, But when it's like, when she was in the books, like she was like, she had like this kind of anxiety, like this fear. But when she was like being faced with the demon, I don't know if y'all saw it, but that face was not. It did not buy me. I was like, she was like, and that's all. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it. But I don't know. Like I feel like just like because I've seen like a majority of the Conjuring films and like Annabelle, I was like, I just didn't feel there was no connection because I feel like there has to be connection. I'm like, I thought this family had a connection, but I guess it was just the neighbors because Annabelle Higgins was the daughter of their neighbors. But I felt like there was no really real purpose of it, to be honest. Like their characters. I don't know. Even though it's them that's getting haunted, it's like I just didn't feel it. I just didn't sympathize with it. I didn't feel like it was part of them. I don't know if I make myself sense. If I make sense.
Well, what about you? What are your thoughts on me and John and Baby?
Um, yeah, I will say I will agree with Elion. I thought that Mia's acting was like fine for the character. Um, but she wasn't the most convincing all the time. She just kind of seemed like um I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Like, she didn't seem like she was playing a crazy lady or like a lady being tortured. She seemed like she was like kind of like overdoing it. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it, but it didn't feel like it didn't feel natural. I guess for the actor, and
She was scenery chewing. She was chewing the fuck out that.
yeah, and it wasn't really there all the time for me. I think probably for me, her best scene maybe was that elevator scene. That was probably like the best one that she like kind of had, and also the one when that you mentioned earlier, Mark, when the popcorn was going off and the house was about to burn and stuff like that. So I think those probably like her best two scenes. Now, as far as the husband, like, sir, yes, we understand you have to go to work. This is like the 60s. So, husband goes to work, woman is at home. But your wife is spiraling right now after a crazy incident. And then you literally tell her, like, a day or two afterwards, oh, yeah, I got to go out of town, leave you at home by yourself now. Like, what? Sir, y'all both just got attacked in your house. You almost died actually. If the one girl kept bashing, if the dude kept bashing you in the head, your wife just got stabbed and now you're leaving. Like, yes, I understand you want your promotion and whatnot, but we need to think about our like priorities here as like as a family unit. Wife's about to have a baby, and she may tell you to go, but you're pretty sure your wife is very much scared of the possibility of being at home alone after that in the same house that it just happened in at that. And secondly, even though he was, not completely there, I will say from he took it better than I thought he would when she kept telling him the about the stuff. Like, he didn't immediately just jump to, oh, you're crazy, like blah 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 blah. Especially for the 60s, like he could have he could have took her ass to the insane
No, for
asylum.
real,
See,
because he
that's
actually
why.
was very sympathetic of his wife.
He could have took
He
her
was
to
actually very
the
sympathetic.
insane asylum.
That's why. That's why I thought he might have been possessed already. I'm just like he's very like accepting of this. Like I'm like, is something going on we don't know about? Because like, what's happening right now? He's too like, okay, babe.
Yeah, that was probably maybe like the best part of his character is they didn't go down that route with him, because so many movies will do that, like to make like they'll make the wife seem like they're crazy, and the husband's like, oh no, what do you mean, like no one's ever seen anything like that, like blah 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 blah, and like,
I think it's also. Oh, sorry to
oh no,
interrupt. Go for it.
oh
Go
no, you
first.
got it.
No, it's because I just want to bring it back. Like I feel like he was just more supportive compared to, like, let's be honest, with The Conjuring. It wasn't very supportive because this family was actually religious. Remember,
That's true.
remember The Conjuring, they were not a church going family, and their kids were never baptized. Compared to them, they actually did go to church a lot. So maybe he did take it a little bit seriously, especially with what, like, I don't. Was the husband informed about the cult and all like this demonic stuff, or was it only her and
It was only
she just
her.
notified
She
him?
never. I don't think she ever told him. He probably didn't even know that the detective came over because they never. I don't think they talked about it.
Mm, right. But that's why I was just like, maybe that's the reason why he was like more like, okay, I do believe you because of his religious sense, like of his faith.
Mm. Yeah, I could definitely see that being a reason or why. So I would say like out of everything with the husband, that was probably like the best part about his characters. They didn't go that route of making him like disregard his wife, but everything else though, he was kind of always there, like just late or shy of it being a bad thing.
Honestly, I kind of think that like because I know Tuan mentioned earlier that it seemed like she was like overacting, but I kind of feel like it just. I think it's just that everybody around her was like underacting. You know what I mean? Like the husband, yeah, he was like supportive, but I also feel like he didn't really like do anything though. He was literally just going through the motions. He was just going through the scenes. He wasn't really like present, if that makes
Mm,
sense. Not the way she was. You know, like that. You know, she was giving her all. You know, trying to scream, but like he was just kind of like, well, you know, like his role was for real. Just well, I'm the husband, and
mm,
he just didn't really do anything with that. And like, and he was boring. Like, I'm sorry, but he was like just a very boring character. It seems like the only reason they even added a husband like to the movie was because it was the 60s, and you know, I guess that's just what they wanted to do. But I feel like they didn't really have a plan of what they wanted to do with him besides like what the end when he like stopped her from like jumping. But even then, it's just like he didn't have any actual scenes with the paranormal until the end. You know, when
mm.
he saw the priest and then the priest told him, and yeah, and I think the fact that uh, that he was religious definitely helped a lot. But it's like, but that's it. You know, like as a character, he didn't have any other depth besides I'm a husband and I go to church, and that's it.
You know what? I agree what you said about how it does seem like she's overacting because everyone else is underacting. That's probably why I think I got like the vibe that the husband's creepy because he was playing it stale and very boring. And I see the overacting part when she's in scenes with Evelyn because Alfie Woodard, she knows how to act. So she's
Mm.
acting as an actress does. So compared to her, yes, Mia is overacting. But compared to everyone else, at least she's like awake and like actually present in the scenes because the movie is boring because the actors are fucking boring in the movie. Like it's nothing's given. And I didn't feel the love for John and Mia. I didn't feel any sympathy, empathy, nothing. Like I don't know. Like, but if I was just attacked in this house, I wouldn't be here alone or in general. Like, I put me up at a hotel, put me up somewhere else,
Like we
go to
going to
my
work with
parents'
you.
house. Yes, like I'm not gonna be here by myself under any circumstance. I that was insane to me. Like I don't get it, and I don't know. I didn't feel a connection. Like Elian said, I didn't feel a connection to the family, to the husband and wife. Yeah, the baby was cute, but like I would have much rather if the baby ended up being possessed and then they had some bad CGI baby running around giving, pet cemetery vibes. Like I would have much rather
Girl.
I would have much rather that than I don't know, because that would have put like stake into it. Or at least if the husband did die during that attack and now she's pregnant and now she's talking to ghosts and trying to get him back and it's not really her, it's not really him. Like I don't know, I didn't feel anything for them. They were like, he was boring. She was trying. At some point, she was trying too hard. The baby was adorable, but I just feel like the people we were supposed to care about, I didn't care about them enough because they didn't give me anything. But
That's
Tawan,
fair.
Tawan, can you give me your thoughts on the demon, the demonic figure, that Annabelle doll hunting demon?
I'm sorry, but ever since Alien brought it up and I was already thinking about it, it looked like Doja Cat from the Demons video. I can't get that out of my head now. It's comical
I
to
ain't
me.
gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. The moment it was my Chinese people, I was like, Doja gave it her all, but I was like, no, never mind. It's not.
Like it really looked like that to me. It's like I could see how to someone that would be scary, but to us, we've seen a lot of like horror movies, like the demon. Just like Maria said, it's like he's just a guy. He looks just like a guy, and he wasn't really that like menacing or scary or anything. Um, and the usage of like the actual like Annabelle doll, besides like that one scene Mark mentioned where like the doll started standing up on its own, and then, the demon was like behind it, like holding it up. There weren't really that many um good scenes I can think of that included the doll, and for them to get a doll that looks like that like is scary looking, and not really do much with it, I was like, okay, it's a little underwhelming. That's like the whole reason that we were here. Um, yeah, I didn't really think it was that like menacing of an entity or anything like that, and there was no way for them to even defeat it. Like in the Conjuring, they were able to, use well they had Ed and Lorraine on the team, so they was tag teaming the damn demon. But um, in this one, Evelyn killed herself to give it a soul, and that was it. There's not really even a defeat.
For me, I have to say, for a movie that's called Annabelle, you can at least have it. You can at least have the demon mind fucking them and have have it making the doll attack them. Like,
Hmm.
but besides like the rocking chair scenes and the shots of the doll and that one scene I mentioned earlier, it's like, why is this movie called Annabelle? Like, there's no need for this movie to be called Annabelle. And from as far as I know, this whole story, there's like no like Ed and Lorraine like stuff behind it. This is all original. Like, you
Wait, can
could
I say
have.
something too?
No, go ahead.
You mentioned Ed and Lorraine. I meant to say the way they called back to them, like it was like some Avengers shit, and like the Marvel universe. They're like, we got a couple, but they're out east. They
Bye.
were like, they're out east right now solving something, so we can't get them over here. I was like, it sounded like an Avengers like call back when they mentioned a character.
Please hold.
That was all.
But yeah, it's just like, since this is an original story, you don't have anything connected to Ed and Lorraine. You could have actually had the doll be possessed. I just felt like there was. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't like, what was the point of calling this movie Annabelle? There was like no point. But what about you, Maria? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I agree. I mean, I've already said it. The demon just was not scary. It was kind of dumb. And I also agree with what you guys were saying that like we definitely didn't see enough of Annabelle. It was like they heard about the story of Annabelle and all they really retained was that, oh, it's a doll, and then they just went with that and then they just made the movie. Like it didn't seem like they really like searched into the doll or like why is the doll so scary? Cuz I don't know. It was, and then and I don't know what the hell, like I don't know why these movies just have such bad demons. Like the demons just they're just not scary like at all. And and it's very disappointing. to see, and then to see that it's not, just doesn't hit the way they think it does, I
Mm.
guess.
I'm I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like I would have been more scared with the Raggedy Ann doll, like the actual Annabelle herself.
Yeah, like I feel like I would have been scared if I walked into a room and suddenly the doll's there. Like that would have been kind of like scarier than seeing this. It's like at first, yeah, when you like see the horns, you see the eyes, you get scared, but once you really start to look, you're like, all right, so you're like what, 5'7"? Like like that's not, you're just, yeah, just a guy in makeup, and it's like, and again, I don't know what it is about like the Conjuring universe where the demon just always falls flat. This demon, I mean, oh well, in this movie, like less would have been more. Like
Mm.
just seeing the glowing eyes and maybe just seeing a horn here or there or like
Or
a
they could have just
claw.
pulled it. They could have just pulled it like what Child's Play did. How we weren't sure that Chucky was actually possessed. And you were led to believe it was Andy up until they revealed that Chucky was fucking possessed. If they would have just like had the doll walking around and doing shit, and like this fucking doll is possessed, like fucking Annabelle doll is alive. And then when you get to that final act, then you show us the demon behind Annabelle. But like
Yeah.
to show us the face that early, it takes away the whole. I'm here to watch Annabelle movie. No, the fuck, I'm not. Annabelle is just a fucking mascot, and this fucking ugly demon is behind it. Like I don't care
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that would have been good if maybe like the first Annabelle, yeah, it would have just been the doll, but then like, the other Annabelle movies, you would have seen the demon a bit more. I think that definitely it would have kept the mystery. I think maybe that's why the movie was so boring after that, because it's like, okay, so it's a demon and terrorizing this lady, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because like once the mystery is gone, you kind of it's like, what am I here for? Because like going back to Child's Play, like once you realize, oh, Andy's not the killer, the doll's actually possessed by Chucky, it gets better because now you're like, oh fuck, Chucky's actually running around here killing people. So like knowing that Chucky's actually alive helps the movie, even if you've seen it before. This ruins it. It's like I came here to watch the killer doll, the possessed doll. And I think actually the Child's Play series like is one of the reasons why this movie isn't good. Because we don't mind a killer possessed doll. Like we'd be okay with that. We already had that. You could have just made it, creepy conjuring James Wan esque and it would have been good. But they didn't do that. They literally just put the demon and just like, I'm just holding the fucking doll. Hi, I'm here.
And I think it's also because they gave us that little sneak peek in the first Conjuring, when they were talking about the nurses. Literally the first scene, and then they never come back to it. So you're like wondering, wow, this doll must really be like scary. And then, so I feel like they set those expectations too high just to come out with an hour and 30-minute movie with no actual plot, no real foundation, some weird man who's supposed to be a nice husband, and then his wife is like screaming her head off. It didn't go. They just did not do that well.
I
Before
agree.
before we go over to Alien, I just want to say like I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like I was missing parts that maybe that I'm not even missing because they weren't there. But do we even know who the fuck the demon was? Is that
No.
explained? Is that explained in another
From
movie? No
I'm not
spoilers.
okay. Oh wait, then I can't say this part. Never mind. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. No, I can't say this, but I think I don't know. Like the only thing that we know is just that the demon was just summoned by this cult, and that's it. I think that's all we know.
Yeah, you'll find out more later.
Okay, that that
I can't spend too much.
okay, that helps it a bit. 'Cause I'm just like, who the fuck is behind? Like, why is this demon attached to the Annabelle though? I need to know more about that. And I just feel like this movie just drops the ball. And it's like, yes, I get you're setting up for like a bunch of sequels, but like give me something more to look forward to the sequels with. It's just like it's not given, and it wasn't given, and it was pissing me off. And I don't know, Elian, what are your thoughts on the Annabelle demon? Spoiler free.
Uh, I don't know. It's just like, okay, to be fair, it's been so long since I've watched anything like, any of the Annabelle films. So I could be wrong. All I'm gonna say is like, no, I can't even say because it does like spoil it. I can't say it. So I'll just keep that one to myself. The demon itself was just like not scary per se because I feel like that's like how Hollywood perceives every demon to look like, and it's just like I've seen it so many times. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and on top of that, it was just I wish it was more of the like. I understand like it'd be weird to see Annabelle like walk around like Chucky because like I felt like it was just more of like I want it to be. I didn't even need to see the demon to be honest. I just felt like I just really didn't need to like its face or anything. Maybe like its form, it's like its attack, but the demon itself I felt was it was just too it just did too much in my opinion.
Well, we're almost at the end, but before we get there, come on, can you give the people the behind the scenes info and facts?
That I can. So, Annabelle had a budget of $6.5 million and brought in a box office of 257.6 million. Some interesting facts about Annabelle. Although Annabelle is portrayed in the film as a large porcelain doll that looks overtly scary, the real life doll on which the movie is based is just a Raggedy Ann doll. The authentic Annabelle doll still exists to this day and resides in a glass encasement inside the Lorraine family's occult museum in Monroe, Connecticut. Annabelle was filmed in Ellen DeGeneres' old apartment. James Wan directed the Annabelle elevator scene. The Annabelle demon was portrayed by Joseph Bashara, who also played Bathsheba in The Conjuring. Let's see, Annabelle currently sits at a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. Variety gave the film a positive review, calling the film inspired but periodically cheap. Deadline gave the film a positive review and has said the Scary Doll show has left pining for Chucky and Child's Play. Lastly, The Hollywood Reporter criticized the film for its cheap production and screenplay, but was positive towards the performances of the cast and saying the film is ultimately so scary and formulaic that you won't forget it.
Well, that was a mixed bag, but what about us? Do we cash or pass Annabelle? Maria?
I pass. It's not like I've seen this movie multiple times, but it's just not a movie that stands out. I think like the only scene I really think about is that elevator scene, but even then, like that's it. Like this movie doesn't have any solid foundation. It doesn't have a good plot line. Like even like it wasn't even really scary. There's just like it's not a horrible movie, especially in this franchise. There's definitely worse movies in this franchise in this whole Conjuring universe. But this one, it was just boring. Like that's it. It was a boring movie, and yeah. So I pass.
Align?
Honestly, pass. I like when they brought up Annabelle, like the trailer and all that stuff. They made it seem really well, and like, that's why I went to go see it in theaters. But after seeing the film, I just felt like there was no correlation. Like this story was honestly not really needed.
Mhm.
But in all honesty, yeah, it was just like a pass for me. It was just like one of those movies that you make just to pass the time.
Tuan?
I will also be going with our crowd here and passing on Annabelle. Honestly, if we didn't do this little rewatch of this franchise, I probably would never watch this movie again. Um, it wasn't it wasn't really particularly interesting to me when I saw it the first time. It still isn't now. Um, Especially with what we get after this one in regards to just the Annabelle movies and the next one. This one's just like not even on the same level in my opinion. So yeah, I definitely pass.
And for me, we're gonna make it a 4 for 4. It's a pass. I feel like the fear I have of porcelain dolls gave me more fear than this movie itself. Like I have the irrational fear of porcelain dolls. So every time I saw the Annabelle doll on screen, I winced a little. It freaked me out, you know. And don't judge me because there are people out there, you know, y'all don't like clowns. But do I judge? No. But other than
Maybe a
my
little.
other than my fear of porcelain dolls, like there's nothing else in this movie that scared me. For a horror movie, it really didn't deliver on the horror part. So I was just kind of like not scared. And then the story itself was bland and lackluster. The acting wasn't there. And then like Alliance said, they love their fucking zoom in and zoom out. And I fear there may be more as we continue with this franchise of a lot of zooms. So I don't know, it's a pass for me. And you guys say it gets better, and I'm willing to believe you. You know, you guys haven't let me down yet. So we'll see what happens. But join us next week as we review The Conjuring 2. Now, this one I have seen. I actually saw this one in theaters because, you know, I have a bad habit of missing the first entry in movies and then going to watch the second entry in theaters without ever seeing the first entry. So for me, I'm excited because this is the movie that got me into, you know, these type of horror movies. So join us next week. Good night.
If you like this episode, please be sure to check out Hide and Fear Horror's past reviews from big franchises like Halloween, Friday the 13th, and the Chucky franchise, or one-off reviews like Us and Midsommar. You can follow Hide and Fear Horrors on Instagram and TikTok, where the host posts updates and mini reviews. Full episodes are available on several podcasting platforms. If you're listening to us on YouTube, don't forget to please like and subscribe. Heighten for Horror is produced by Mark Smart, Maria Perez, and Tuan Griffin. Edited by Mark Smart. Theme by Lethal Injections. The Hide and Feel Horrors podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?